Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode in Aubergine's world premiere. Today, this is episode 8, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how this game actually works. Now, I've been explaining it a lot. I don't feel like my explanation's been doing it justice. So, if you were to do this on a paper, which is how I actually came up with it, the rules, like the steps, I guess, is to get your paper, and then you have to make a 4x4 grid. And it doesn't have to be 4x4. It could be like 3x3 if you want. I just like even numbers, so I'm doing 4x4. So first you make your grid, and if you're doing this on an actual paper, you can just number these squares on your paper. But since you can't do that in Minecraft, I made a board. This is the number board. And I've added colors to the edges so that it's easier to make sense of the location or the area, I guess. So I've already gone ahead and randomly numbered the whole board. What I did is I just used Google's, where you can choose a minimum and maximum number. Anyway, you'll randomly number your board. If this were a paper and you had these numbered, you could just scribble it in, fill the box in when you get that number. But I'm gonna be using carpets for this. And then it took me some time, but I've written down some questions to just kind of show you how it works. So the first question is, how many pets have you had? And including pets that I don't have and currently have, that's 5. Yeah. And then the way this works is red row, blue column. Okay, question 2. How many times have you been to an amusement park? And I don't actually know the number because it's been a while and it's been a bunch. So I'm just gonna guess 7, or I'll go with 6. And where is 6? Right there. Question 3. How many pets do you currently have? That would be 3. Question 4 is, what's your favorite number? That's number 4. Question 5 is, how old is your oldest pet? My guess would be 7. Question 6 is, how many hours do you usually sleep? And I try to aim for 8. And I don't really track my sleeping, so I'm just going to assume 8. Favorite grade to experience, or what was your favorite grade in school? 7th grade or whatever. I would have to say 12th grade for me. The last one. The best one. And then the last question that I was able to come up with is, how old is your car? Actually, I didn't come up with this one. I copied it. Either by year, model, or ownership. I'm going to go by ownership, and I've owned it for 6 years. But since I've already marked that, I cannot mark it again. So, basically, when you're actually playing this game, probably with someone else, you're just going to be asking each other back and forth. And what I've noticed is, so I came up with 8 questions. There are 16 boxes on the grid. So, for each person to come up with 8 questions, that's 16. Actually, let me clean this up. But like I said, you can make the grid smaller if you want. A 3x3 grid would probably be a lot easier. That's only 9 questions. It took me a while to come up with, it would take me a lot longer to come up with questions than it did for me to find them, but it still took me a while. Because if you just look up questions where the answers are numbers, but they're like personal questions, I get like word problem kind of questions. But that is like, if you wanted to, this could be like a math question sort of thing, like, because numbers and numbers. So given that you're playing this game with someone else, the rules are pretty simple. After you have the setup, you just ask each other questions where the answer is a number. But there are things about it that you can change, like for the amusement park question, I guessed 6, I think it was. And since, at least over there, you can see each other's boards, if you wanted to accept guesses at answers, you could. But if you didn't want to, you couldn't. I mean, you can literally do anything that you want to. Or you can cover each other's boards. Because with the guessing thing, I fear that people might lie. But if that's not something you're concerned about, then Then there's the part about coming up with questions, because it took me a while to find some, and then I had to come up with a bunch of others, like the how many pets do you have I found online, but the other ones I came up with just based on the original question. So that's a really easy way to like kind of come up with a lot of questions, is to form a bunch of different questions around one subject. And the, I guess, like formula of coming up with questions would probably be, is first I think of like a noun, a verb, an adjective, some like an activity, it could be like a hobby, or something you just do in your pastime. It could be about something, like it could be about their favorite TV show, like how many times has your favorite character died, or how many seasons does it have, you know, just building stuff off of each other. Once you come up with something, you just start asking questions about it. For the next video, I'm going to be building a greenhouse. And I came up with this idea a while ago, but now that, since Minecraft's latest announcement, I'm more excited about the greenhouse than I was before, because, if you haven't seen it, I'll just tell you, they've announced that they're adding copper golems to the game, and copper is actually getting its own weapon and armor set, and it's going to be between stone and iron. Yeah, okay. It's going to be between stone and iron, and they said it's like that. There's a lot of copper near the surface, which is a lot easier to get than iron. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. And with the copper golems, we get copper chests. So, those are going to go hand in hand with my greenhouse. But the whole point of the greenhouse is going to be built out of copper, but I'm not going to wax any of the copper, and I'm just going to let it oxidize and unoxidize, because I think that is one of my favorite features about copper, besides the noise it makes and the color. The whole thing about the greenhouse is just gonna be oxidizing and deoxidizing, and it's gonna be somewhere around here pretty close so that I can be looking at it all the time. And then I'm just gonna have a bunch of copper golems walking around. It's gonna be awesome. Anyway, that is everything I have for you this week. Next week, we'll be starting on that, and I'm also gonna need to do a mining trip in between, which is gonna be fun, really fun. I love mining. Anyway, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, you are epic. Bye!